It is the start of April, and that means it's a whole new themed month. This month I went back and forth on what I actually wanted to do, and in the end I decided it'd be a really cool idea to do a movie month. So within that theme, I'm not necessarily going to be doing a movie review every week. I have come up with some ideas on how to vary it. However, I am starting the month with a movie review, and one of the newest movies to come out lately is Ready Player One, which I saw at the cinema yesterday with my boyfriend. This was an interesting one for me to review because I've read the book, but I read the book a few years ago to the point that I'm not that clear on what happened. I'm a bit sketchy on quite a bit of actually how the story went. I just remember that it was very heavily pop culture influenced. Like there's so many references to so many things. A lot of it 80s. So when I saw the trailers, I thought, well, they've obviously updated it because I noticed a few more modern day characters like people from Overwatch and whatnot. But I sort of thought, I don't really remember the movie too. I don't really remember the book too clearly, and because of that I was hoping I could watch the movie as it was and not get too bogged down by comparing it to the book. Unfortunately, as I was watching it, certain things started to come back. I started to remember some of what did happen, and that got me a little bit confused, and I kept on thinking, wait, why aren't they doing it like that? Or why are they doing something different? Because if you don't know the plot, it's about, it's set in the future where everybody lives on this virtual world called the Oasis. Pretty much everybody does everything on the Oasis. The real world is pretty rubbish. And everybody, you can do anything. It's like the ultimate computer game inside of virtual reality. You can do everything on it. And everyone has their own avatar. But the guy who created it put in some Easter eggs. He's got an Easter egg at the core of it. And only like hardcore fan of his really can find it, because there's 3 gates to go through, 3 keys to open up the gates, and they're like the really hard Easter eggs. To find the gate, they're really hard tasks to do, and they're all, at least the first 2. The first one I completely forgot what that was, so when they show it in the film I was like, oh okay, right, I don't remember this, but this is cool. It's basically it's a race. And that race was actually really fun to watch, and the way they work it out. At the time I thought, okay, that's clever. And then I watched another review where somebody pointed out that, really, in 5 years nobody worked out to do that? That seems a little bit unlikely, considering everybody is trying to solve these riddles and find these keys and stuff. And I thought, yeah, that's a point. And then I forgot what the actual first gate was, because they obviously did something different. And then the second one, I know for a fact, the moment I saw it, I thought, that ain't the same from the book. And like I said, these things got distracting for me. And I didn't really appreciate what they were. Like, were they actually any good? Because the second gate was actually, in retrospect, thinking about it, actually really fun the way they do it. Because it does involve a movie that they go into. And it's really, the way they've done it is actually really clever. It's really good. But I remembered while I was watching it what they actually do in the book and how he has to complete the second gate. And thinking back, I kind of maybe, because it's done by Steven Spielberg, he can get the rights to all sorts of things. But other things maybe not. So, because one of the gates does involve reciting a movie, pretty much word for word, and they didn't do that. They did something completely different. So I was sort of like, okay, but then maybe that works in a book and not so much in a film, because it's not really that exciting. So they want to, it's quite an action heavy film, so they wanted to make it more exciting. And then when we got to the end, I know that they did the ending quite differently, and I kind of remembered Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg's character is sort of like the best friend of the guy who created the Oasis. And I remember thinking, he was in this more. He doesn't seem to be in this as much. And then I sort of flicked through the book when I got back, and I thought, wait, yeah, he played a much bigger role, and his role's been really marginalised. And I don't know why. It's Simon Pegg. Everyone loves Simon Pegg. Why would you want to marginalise his involvement? And it makes no sense to, because they easily could have added that in. And I think part of it is because they wanted to have more interaction in the real world between the main characters, which the book doesn't really have, because they're all avatars. They all know each other online, so they don't interact so much in the real world. I mean, they do, but I also remember the book being a bit darker. I'm not going to say anything, but it was a bit darker, some of the elements as well in the book. But like I said, it was so hard, having read the book and all these things coming back to me and these memories of reading it, it was hard to just, to not compare, to not sort of have in my mind the book, which was really annoying and really, really frustrating. But trying to think of it as a film, just trying to look at it as a film, the things that I liked did involve that car chase at the front was really good. There is this epic battle at the end, which I didn't get into as much as I'd hoped, considering how kind of big and awesome it is. But looking back, it did have some really cool, really kind of fun moments. And actually that whole end thing is actually really fun. It had some good actors in it. It had some good characters in it. I also enjoyed some of the worlds. Like I said, there were so many Easter eggs in it in itself, just little things to pick out, that you could easily, that sort of gives it rewatchability, you know, wanting to go back and rewatch just so you can point out all the Easter eggs. Not something I necessarily do, but it would make it, I would probably rewatch it again. Not necessarily to do that, but it would be interesting to see what I would notice second time around. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what other things. The main characters were okay. I have to admit, it's sort of the other, I don't know, Hake? He was quite fun. So, yeah. It was all right. I think at the end of the day, my mind is still kind of muddled. Again, it's really annoying because I do recognise it as quite a fun film, and I did enjoy parts of it overall. But I did find myself rolling my eyes at some of the romantic elements in it, because unfortunately I am the worst person to watch any romance thing with. There are some couples, as I've mentioned in the list, that can get me kind of going, ah, yeah. This one didn't, and I know that it was in the book as well, so that it was nothing to do with that. It was just the way it was portrayed on the screen, and I was just like, it's okay. Goody. I kind of found myself drifting off doing that, but yeah. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Overall, I thought it was alright. I can imagine people who are much more into gaming, perhaps, would probably enjoy it more. I can imagine this being a film that my friends would probably really like, and it'd be interesting to find out what they think when they see it. But for me, it was alright. I would watch it again. I'm not sure if I'd own it. I might just borrow it off my boyfriend because he loved it. But I thought it was alright. So, yeah, that was my review of, or my thoughts on Ready Player One. As I said, not every video will be a movie review. I do have some other ideas. And you'll have to wait till next week to see what one of those is. Until then, goodbye.